back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the most disturbing photos with backstories explained in 20 minutes. Let's check this out.
Smile.jpg. Smile dog.
The fuck is that?
If the internet had a cursed hallway with doors you should never open, Smile.jpg would be one of them. This infamous image, better known as Smile Dog, is one of the internet's most bone-chilling creepypasta legends. It all started with a file, an old grainy JPEG of a dog. But not just any dog. This one has human-like teeth, glowing eyes, and a blood-red background. Oh, and it was smiling and
some AI shit.
Smile. According to the legend, the image originated from a floppy disk mailed to a woman named Mary E., who was researching paranormal phenomena. After viewing the image, she began having vivid nightmares and spiraled into paranoia and a mental breakdown.
Damn.
Eventually, she took her own life, allegedly leaving only a note: "Smile, God loves you." What makes Smile.jpg so disturbing isn't just the image. It's the idea that once you see it, it infects you. Like a visual virus. People report headaches, seizures, and even hallucinations after seeing it.
Let me not look at that
begging
then.
others not to search it. Some even claim it shows up in inboxes or hidden links, whispering in dreams. Spread the word. Rap.mp3 or Memphis Rap Sigils. There's a photo floating around the internet called rap.mp3, and no, it's not a sound file, it's an image. A grainy, low-quality, dimly lit snapshot of a man, shirtless and sweaty, staring straight into the camera with cold, almost lifeless eyes. He's surrounded by strange hand-drawn symbols. Think crosses, triangles, occult-looking squiggles, all scrawled in black marker across the wall.
This ain't ancient Egypt, bro. What the fuck?
Rap.mp3. And the internet lost its mind. People started calling it the Memphis Rap Sigils, tying it to the dark, violent underbelly of 1990s Memphis horrorcore rap, a niche music scene known for lyrics about death, Satanism, and ritualistic violence.
Damn.
Some speculated that the symbols were part of actual sigil magic, where drawings are believed to summon spirits or manifest evil. Others thought it was a real crime scene and the man in the image was a murderer. Others believed he was the victim. And then there were those who thought the whole photo was cursed. The point is that no one could explain where it came from or what it was really about. The only thing people knew for certain was that when you look at it, it just feels wrong. Like you've accidentally walked in on something you were never meant to see. Napalm Girl, Vietnam,
what
1972.
the fuck is this?
One photo.
Hey, bruh, I'm not going back. What the fuck was that?
From the Vietnam War that punches harder than any headline. A young girl completely naked running down a road screaming in agony while her skin literally burns off. This photo is known as Napalm Girl, and it's one of the most disturbing images to ever haunt the internet.
And who the fuck took a picture of that?
Kim Phu, and she was just 9 years old
CP.
when South Vietnamese planes mistakenly dropped napalm, a chemical that sticks to skin and burns at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh.
In a village in 1972. The photo was taken seconds after the strike, capturing pure, unfiltered human suffering. But what really chills people isn't just the raw pain, it's the mystery and eerie details wrapped around it. For one, no other kids in the photo looked panicked, but she looked...
But why the fuck was she the only one naked? This whole picture just looks weird as hell.
Almost ghostly, like something already dead. Her skin appears to be melting off, and yet she's still running. People have speculated for years whether she even survived. Creepier still, some believe the photo was faked or covered up by the US government because it was too damning, too real. Others pointed to the fact that the photographer, Nick Utt, managed to snap it at just the right second. A bit too perfect. Kim Wall and Peter Madsen's submarine murder.
Oh yeah,
Swedish journalist
I saw this
Kim Wall had
before.
been hoping for the chance to do a story on Peter Madsen, a Danish inventor who had self-made 3 submarines
murdered her inside the
and
submarine.
was now hoping to make a rocket that would take him to space. On August 10th, 2017, her wish came true after
I
she received a
remember hearing
text
about
from
this.
Peter agreeing to interview on board one of his submarines. She told her boyfriend the interview would take 2 hours and boarded the submarine around 7. Over the next hour, Kim's boyfriend got texts and what would be the last picture of her. When she didn't come back home that night, her boyfriend reported her missing. Rescue teams contacted Peter's submarine and he said he would head for the harbor, but 30 minutes later, the submarine sank. Peter was rescued, but there was no sign of Kim. Peter first said he had dropped her off on land, then he said the submarine's hatch cover had slammed on her head. This story fell apart 2 weeks later when Kim's torso washed up on shore. The rest of her dismembered body was found weighed down under the sea. That's when Peter came up with another story. Kim had died from poisonous fumes, and he cut her body to get it out of the narrow
Nigga changed the story 3 different
Kim's
times.
death was no accident. Peter's laptop and phone showed videos he watched of women being tortured and executed.
Nigga, what? Okay, bro. Hey, bro. Nigga getting off to this shit? He definitely one of them type of niggas that he definitely gooned to that. That you can't tell me he didn't. Bro, what the fuck? Why would you even look up some shit like that?
That submarine's hatch had closed.
Some shit Jeffrey Dahmer would look up.
Dead woman walking.
Ted Bundy.
Peter already
like,
had a saw, knife, and sharpened screwdrivers on board. He tied her up, killed her.
Screwdriver is
and
crazy.
dismembered her. Then he sank his submarine and got rid of the crime scene. Peter was sentenced to death, but in 2020, he escaped from prison. His stint in the outside world didn't last long, and that same day, he was found and taken in.
Dumbass.
Vulture and the Little Girl. Sudan,
the fuck?
1993.
Damn, she
One of the most
malnourished.
haunting
Like,
and disturbing photos ever to
what
spread
the
across
fuck?
the internet is The Vulture and the Little Girl. It was taken
Nigga,
in
she
1993.
hella malnourished. Oh my gosh. Please, bro, please don't tell me that the vulture ate her, bro. Please don't tell me
During
that.
the Sudan famine by South African photojournalist Kevin Carter, and once you see it, it burns into your memory. The photo shows a frail, starving little girl collapsed on the ground, barely alive, while a vulture lurks just feet away, waiting. Yes, waiting. As if the bird knew her time was almost up. The image was captured near a UN
They're
food
vultures,
center in Aoud, Sudan, and it quickly became a symbol of the horror and helplessness of famine. But what made it truly eerie wasn't just the photo, but what came after. People online began asking if the girl survived and why the photographer didn't try to help her.
Dead ass though. Why the fuck are you just taking a picture instead of getting her some help? Like, bro, niggas be doing anything for views and clicks, bro. Real shit.
She managed to crawl away, but
even
her
back in the
exact fate was never
1900s.
confirmed,
Like,
and
bro.
that ambiguity made things even darker. According to the story, some said he waited 20 minutes to get the perfect shot before chasing the vulture away,
Nigga,
while others
what?
believed he never helped at all. Carter won that Pulitzer Prize in 1994,
Bro,
which
lock
made
him
the
up.
speculations worse because people started saying he had traded compassion for a Pulitzer. Sadly, just months later, overwhelmed by guilt, trauma, and backlash, he died by suicide. His final note hinted at the horrors he had witnessed and couldn't unsee. The tragedy of Blanche Monnier. On the 23rd of May, 1901, the Attorney General of Paris
1901,
received an
goddamn.
anonymous letter stating that a starving, unmarried woman was locked up in Madame Monnier's home. The Monniers were a well-respected conservative family of noble blood, so they were definitely not the sort that would do something like this. Regardless, the police still stormed into the house and were shocked to find an emaciated woman surrounded by old food, excrement,
imagine the
insects,
smell,
and
bro.
vermin. Her name was Blanche Monnier, Madame Monnier's
Damn,
daughter,
hold
who
up.
had disappeared.
Damn, her ass was bad as shit. Well, how old was she in this picture before I say something? Like, she was like in her 20s or something like that. But damn, bro, she looked good as hell, bro. And compared to this picture right here, oh my gosh.
Appeared in 1876. Before then, Blanche had the world at her fingertips. She was beautiful, from a wealthy family, and attracted
1876.
wealthier suitors. But the only man Blanche was interested in
I'm gonna
was
keep
a
it a
poor
buck, bro.
lawyer.
Women back
Blanche's mother
back
and
then
her
look
brother
way
was-
better than women nowadays, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. There was some good ass looking women back then.
Well, this was the
Like,
ultimate
real shit.
disgrace to the family. So Blanche was taken to a tiny room in the attic and chained to the bed. For the
Wow.
next 25 years, they mournfully
Damn.
told everyone that the lovely Blanche had disappeared, even long after her beau died. By the time Blanche
That's
was rescued,
tough.
she was 56, weighed a mere 25 kilograms, and
Oh
had
my
gone mad.
gosh.
Blanche's mother was arrested, but died 15 days later. Her brother was convicted at first, but was acquitted because he was considered mentally incompetent. And there was no law against rescuing your sister from your mother, yet. Blanche would live for 10 more years before dying in a psychiatric hospital. Tomoko in the bath,
R.I.P.
Japan, 1971. At
What
first
the
glance,
fuck?
the photo looks deceptively calm. A mother gently holds her daughter in a bath, both their faces unreadable, one tender, the other blank. But once you know the story, the image becomes a haunting, tragic, and deeply unsettling picture known as Tomoko in the bath. The girl is Tomoko Uemura, born in Japan in the early 1970s.
Okay.
She suffered from severe mercury poisoning, aka Minamata disease, caused by industrial wastewater dumped into the sea by the Chiso Corporation. Thousands were affected, but Tomoko's case was one of the most extreme. The photo, taken by Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer W. Eugene Smith in 1971, was meant to show the human cost of unchecked corporate greed, and it did. It did it too well. The photo went viral decades later, resurfacing on creepy forums and disturbing images lists across the internet. Because the photo doesn't just document illness, it feels possessed. The light is soft, the water is still, but there's something eerie about the way Tomoko's body folds into her mother's arms. Some viewers claim the image gives them the chills, like her gaze is locked on something invisible and beyond us. Then came the urban legends. Whispers started to circulate that the photo was cursed, and people who stared at it too long felt a strange sadness. The photo was eventually pulled from circulation by Tomoko's family, who said it had been misused. By then, it was already too late. Annalisa Michel and the
What
Exorcism.
the fuck?
In 1976, two Roman Catholic priests, Ernst Alt and Arnold Renz, went on trial. And it's not for the reason priests Ernst Alt and
Yeah, he definitely did something. I don't know what he did. He definitely did something. I can tell by his face, big nose and everything. You can just look at this nigga and tell he a creep.
Arnold Renz went on trial. And it's not for the reason you think. The two were involved in the death of Annalisa Michel, who had starved to death during a 10-month-long
Who was the lady? Hold up. Who the lady having her in a chokehold? What the fuck? She was like Miss Doubtfire. What the hell? Damn, they beat the shit out of her. Damn, R.I.P. to her, man.
During a 10-month-long exorcism.
Hell?
Anna grew up in a devout Catholic family in West Germany. But when she turned 16, Anna started having seizures. And by 20, she was on heavy psychiatric medication for psychosis and depression. Even with the drugs, Anna ate insects and drank her urine off the floor. Once she bit the head off a dead bird. But the final straw was when she told her family that she was hearing voices. They took her off the meds and approached the Roman Catholic Church for an exorcism. It was approved, and for the next 10 months, Ernst Alt and Arnold Renz exorcised Anna while she spoke in a deep, growling voice. These sessions lasted for 4 hours, and for the entire period, Anna was restrained and kept on her knees. When the kneeling caused some of her bones to break, they didn't stop or even treat her.
Why they have her on her knees, bro? Why not, like, tie her down or some shit? Like, having her on her knees is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Just continued with the rituals. By this time, Anna had stopped eating and weighed just 33 kilograms.
Damn.
67 exorcisms later, she died.
How many?
33 kilograms. 67 exorcisms later,
67?
she died of dehydration and malnutrition. Anna was just 23 years old.
Damn.
Parents and the two Roman Catholic priests were found guilty of negligent homicide. Though the priests were sentenced to 3 years of probation, Anna's parents never served time
67
suffered enough.
is
Anatoly
OD.
Moskvin, the doll
What the
collector.
fuck is that
Anatoly
doll?
Moskvin was known for many things. Brilliant journalism, renowned historian, and linguistic expert.
Nigga,
Some
I ain't gonna
even
lie,
called
bro.
him
That
a
nigga
genius.
give me
But
the
in
creeps. I'ma
2011,
keep
the
it a
Russian
buck.
man would come to be known by another name, the creepy man who collected dead girls. It started when the police received several reports about graves being robbed at cemeteries in and around the city
Graves
of
being
Nizhny
robbed?
Novgorod in Russia. After staking out cemeteries for 2 years, in 2011, they caught Anatoly digging up a grave. When they searched the apartment he shared with his parents, they quickly realized that this wasn't your run-of-the-mill grave robbery. There were life-sized dolls all over the apartment. A 45-year-old man
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit just made me feel so uncomfortable, bro. I ain't gonna lie, nigga. I felt bro. I felt the chill go through my body. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, nigga. What? Hey, bruh. This vid was recommended for me to react to.
What makes Anatoly's case special is that they were the mummified remains of human girls. And he didn't stop there. Anatoly attached buttons or toy eyes into their empty eye sockets so that they could watch cartoons with him.
Oh,
Some of the bodies had music boxes in their chests so that when he touched them, they would make sounds. He even kept doll-making manuals and maps of local cemeteries. All of this was done right under his parents' noses. They just thought he liked making big dolls and thought nothing of it.
So y'all ain't gonna ask him no questions?
Were found in the apartment. The youngest was 3, the oldest 25. Anatoly was diagnosed with a form of paranoid schizophrenia and has been confined to a psychiatric clinic since, freeing the dead to rest in peace. The Andes plane crash, survival at 70 days. On October 13th, 1972, members of a rugby union team chartered the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 to take them to Chile for a match. But their plans were forever changed when the co-pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Dante La Guerrara, made a fatal mistake that would end with the plane crashing on a remote icy mountain in Argentina. Of the 45 passengers on board, 33 remained alive, although many were critically or seriously injured. Aircraft took off in Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay to search for the missing flight, but couldn't find them because the blanket of white snow kept them hidden. As the weather worsened, the rescue teams called off the search, convinced that no one could have survived. So imagine the shock when 70 days after the plane disappeared, 2 of the survivors, Nando Porrado and Roberto Canesa, trekked 50 miles to Chile with the news that there were still more survivors in the mountains. Over the next 2 days, the Chilean Air Force would find and rescue 16 survivors.
They probably the ones that died. They probably ate they you know what I'm saying, they body parts and shit.
The story of their survival shocked the world, but not as much as what they had to do to survive. At first, they made do with the food they had brought, but when they ran out, they resorted to the unimaginable, eating the flesh of the people.
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I'm gonna ask y'all a question. If y'all were like stranded somewhere, you know what I'm saying, no way home, and you like with a bunch of people and they die, are y'all eating them to survive, or are y'all just gonna sit there and starve to death? I'm gonna keep it a buck, nigga. I don't know, cause like, bro, trying to eat human skin, like the human skin is tough as shit to bite through. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. I'm like, if I'm like starving, I ain't got no choice, bro. I might have to. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I might have to, gang. It's gonna be hard to chew through, but hey, we gotta do what it takes to survive, bro.
Human spine. The media went crazy, and families who lost their loved ones in the crash were livid. Rumors swirled around that the survivors might have killed others and eaten them. That's where the slogan "Rugby players eat their dead" came from. Eventually, the outrage died down. It certainly helped that Pope Paul IV sent a telegram to the survivors sanctioning their actions. The remains of the 29 who died were buried at the crash site. 15 were mere bones, while 13 bodies were found intact.
Wow.
The Dylan Redwine case.
Oh, that nigga.
On November 19th, 2012.
Yep, he had PDF file, bro. I'm already seeing it, bro.
Police received a missing persons report from
2012 too.
Her son, Dylan Redwine, had flown into Colorado to see her soon-to-be ex-husband, Mark, on a court-ordered visit. The following morning, Mark left home to run some errands, and when he got back, the 13-year-old was gone. Father and son didn't have a great relationship, so people didn't think much of it when Mark said Dylan had run away. Then, months later, Dylan's body was found 8 miles from Mark's home. By then, a lot of people were suspicious of him. He didn't join in the search for Dylan, and he had told an ex-wife the mountains were the best place to get rid of a body. He also told his older son, Corey, that Dylan's head needed to be found to determine the cause of death. Mark and Elaine had also appeared on Dr. Phil, where Mark flat out refused to take a polygraph test. The police did a more thorough search of Mark's home and truck.
Why am I just
and found
not hearing about
traces
this?
of Dylan's DNA. He was arrested and sentenced to 48 years. However, the question on everyone's lips was why? Why
How
did
can
Mark
you kill your
his
own kid, though,
13-year-old son?
in GTA?
Well, back in 2011, Corey and Dylan found some disturbing pictures of Mark on his laptop. He had on a wig, was wearing women's lingerie, soiled diapers, and even eating Back in 2011, Corey and Dylan found some disturbing pictures of Mark on his laptop. He had on a wig, was wearing women's lingerie, soiled diapers, and even eating human waste from said diaper. Dylan had planned to confront him during his visit and had asked Corey to send him the pictures. Faced with this humiliation, Mark had killed his own son. Maybe in a fit of rage.
You kill your son in GTA because you're a weirdo? It's one thing to put on a wig and women's lingerie and soiled diapers or underwear or whatever. But nigga, you eating it? Like, niggas real deal need help, bro. Like, Rush. And the fact that he took pictures of it. Like, oh my God.
Maybe to keep him quiet. The murder of Lisa Holm. There's a picture of what looks like an old, neglected public restroom. These yellow tiles were the last thing Lisa Holm saw before she took her last breath. Lisa Holm was a 17-year-old working a summer job at a coffee shop in Blomberg, Sweden. On the night of June 7th, 2015, she texted her father that she had ended her shift and was heading home on her moped. But Lisa never made it back. Hours later, when her father came to check what was holding her up, he found her moped still there with the key in the ignition. But no Lisa. For 5 days, hundreds of volunteers flooded the area searching for Lisa. They slowly found bits of her things, her cell phone case and license, all pointers that Lisa might still be in the area. Eventually, they made their way to a neighboring farm. Then a suspicious man showed up and told them the area had already been searched. They didn't believe him and continued their search. Lisa's jacket and helmet were soon found in a nearby barn. They eventually worked their way to a nearby work shed. In one of the closets, they found Lisa's body with a rope around her neck.
No.
The teenager had been hanged by the neck in the barn before her body was hidden in the work shed. DNA evidence on Lisa's body and the ropes led them to 35-year-old Lithuanian Nerejas Belevičius, the same man who had tried to derail the search. Nerejas' computer contained a lot of pornography, and there was evidence that he watched the girls in the coffee shop from his room and checked on them. Nerejas was sentenced.
Yeah, good. Sentence that nigga to life. Bro, what? I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all gotta stay safe out there. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Be aware of y'all surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Cause it be weirdos out there like this. Like, bro, like real spill. Somebody probably out there doing some weird shit right now. Probably looking in somebody's window. Like, that shit is crazy. That's why you need, like, alarm systems and cameras nowadays, bro. Cause of weirdos like this. Like, oh my gosh, bro.
To life in prison, but he wasn't there long. He got beaten up by other inmates,
Good.
drenched in hot water, and in 2022, fatally stabbed.
Yeah, dumb bitch.
Robert Pickton, the pig farmer killer. When Canadian police executed a search warrant for illegal firearms at the Pickton Pig Farm on February 6, 2002, they expected to find weapons, pigs, and maybe one or two weird things. After all, David and Robert Pickton were known for hosting wild parties on the farm. What they didn't expect to find were the personal belongings of a missing woman. They executed another search warrant on the property, but this time they found much worse. Skulls, hands, and feet. Bloody clothing belonging to a victim, a jawbone and teeth, and a garbage can with human remains. By the time they were done, they had found the DNA of missing women.
I know, bro.
Some of them were prostitutes.
That shit had to be traumatizing, bro.
Robert Pickton had murdered 33 women between 1995
33?
and 2001.
Nigga, you think you Ted Bundy? What the fuck?
Pickton had murdered 33 women between 1995 and 2001.
How was niggas getting away with this shit for 6 years? I don't like. I'll never understand it, bro. Niggas can real deal go on a killing spree like this, and it'll last for years, maybe even decades, without people finding out. Like, bro, do nobody check up on each other anymore? Like, bro, like, oh my gosh, bro.
Robert put the actual number at 49 and had told an undercover detective that he had hoped to make it an even 50 before he
What?
got caught. What was crazy about this case was how normal Robert looked and was. On the outside, he seemed like the quiet Picton brother. He got rich selling parts on his farmland to property developers while working diligently as a full-time farmer on his family's pig farm. Behind closed doors, Robert lured women to his farm, handcuffed and killed them before getting rid of their bodies. And the way he did it would definitely disgust you. He told one person that he ground them up and fed them to his pigs. But there's also evidence that Robert may have ground up human flesh and mixed it with pork that he sold to the public. The serial killer got a taste of his own medicine in 2024 when he died from a fatal heart attack behind
Good.
bars.
Damn, that nigga just died too. Good. What the fuck? I ain't gonna lie, nigga. I got a sub to this nigga. This is a good ass vid. Bro, what the fuck? I ain't gonna lie. All of these was unsettling. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Holy shit. Nigga, what the fuck? I ain't gonna lie about that. Nigga gave her little cherries, bro. What the fuck? Little cherries and little strawberries. Nah, okay. Hey, man, shit. Y'all let me know what other, you know what I'm saying, horror, crime vids y'all want me to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.